I automatically get taken back to a moment in September when I got to see the Ohio State Buckeyes versus the Bowling Green State University Falcons. The final score of the game was 77-10. I'll let you be the judge who the winner of the game was. I remember being happy that we were sitting in the shade on such a hot day, and I also remember two huge pillars that obstructed our view of the field. I watched a majority of the game on a 30-inch television that was in the overhang. This was such a memorable moment for me, and we all have a handful of memories just like this. A special birthday, a marriage, a death, a divorce, the birth of a child. But how many of us remember what we did last month? How many of us remember what we did last week or yesterday? How can we live more memorable lives? In 2012, Caesar Kuriyama set off on a journey to record 1 second of his life every day for the rest of his life. I wanted my experience to be different. I wanted to live with purpose. I wanted to be authentic, and I wanted to build relationships. Earlier this year, I had the opportunity to lead a kids camp focused on leadership and building culture for our program. The coaches sat down and we settled on the 3 Ps that we wanted the kids to be able to walk away with. We settled on purpose, passion, and positivity. We integrated these into all of the drills that we did. We had the kids repeat it back to us, and we even gave them a half sheet when the camp ended, and we felt confident that the kids were going to remember our 3 Ps. After the camp was over later that night, I ran into a mom from the camper's mother, and she was excited and said she loved the camp, and her son loved the camp, but there was something about 3 Ps that he couldn't quite remember. Since that acronym was so powerful for him, I thought I would share an acronym with all of you to remember to live a more memorable life. PAR. Purpose, authenticity, relationships. Purpose. The purpose of my journey was to answer the question, how can we live more memorable lives? Tony Robbins defines happiness by continuing to grow and to give. For me, this year, growth meant stepping out of my comfort zone. I accepted a new role as an elementary tech teacher, started my own business, and even agreed to give a TED Talk. This growth sparked so many memorable moments in my life that I would never experience if I had stayed where I felt comfortable. Authenticity. We crave authenticity in our lives. Authentic moments spark feelings and emotions that make us feel alive. Recently, I heard a pastor say, "What's down in the well will come up in the bucket." If we are authentic on the inside, we will create authentic moments for others and ourselves on the outside. Throughout my 1 second journey, I sought to record both the tough times and the good times. I was able to capture my nephew on the first day of his life. I was able to capture how I felt after eating 6 hot dogs on Dime a Dog night. And I was able to capture a good friend learning to walk again after fighting for her life just days before. If we want to spark authenticity in our lives, it's important to reflect on the tough moments as equally as it is to celebrate the good. Relationships. Relationships are everything. Jim Rohn states, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." If you want to live a more memorable life, raise your average. I don't know if I should be a little worried that my top 5 include a baby, a dog, children under the age of 10, a group of teenage guys, and my family. I started this 1 second journey for very selfish reasons. I wanted to live a more memorable life. The ironic part about the journey is my favorite, most memorable moments are the ones that were spent living for others. Recently, my sister moved back to Wisconsin, and it was a bittersweet moment. I was happy that she was going back to a place that she fell in love with, but I was sad because she was living almost 9 hours away with my nephew. That last night she was in Ohio, she stayed at our house, and I made sure I put everything away, was fully engaged, and was present. I was upset with myself that I had waited until the last night that she was there before I was fully engaged and present. This is a reminder that we already know, but it's important to remember. We need to remove the things in our lives that don't matter. Wherever we are, we must be all there. So what's next? You don't have to be extraordinary to live an extraordinary life. You don't have to take a year off of work, or maybe you do. Nike came out with a slogan in 1988 that said, "Just do it." It boosted its market share from 18% to 43%. If you want to live a more memorable life, just do it. Clearly decide what you want, and each day take a step towards those goals. The ultimate goal of the journey should not be to ask yourself one time, how can you live a memorable life? No matter where you are in the journey, the goal should be to ask yourself this question more often. So I'll ask you one more time. Are you living a memorable life? Live with purpose, be authentic, and build relationships. Thank you.